Good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be a long holiday weekend, and I want everyone to be safe, wear a mask, realize that it's fun to hang out with everyone, but we need to take precautions. So wear a mask, be safe. And I'm pretty thrilled about today, to kick off today. Even though it's a long weekend, I think many of you might be really interested because you know why? You're probably going to want to use his product. So before we get set up and I introduce Brian Scott, I just want to give everyone, a shout out to Huntington Bank. They've been amazing. They've been with us right from the beginning. They've believed in everything that we've been doing and trying to knit the community together. And I also want to thank Webb Law Firm. They signed up to join us. They've been longtime sponsors on lots of things, and they've been around since 1845 doing all things intellectual property. So we have muted everyone's microphones. And with that said, we do want this call to be somewhat interactive. So there's a chat at the bottom of the screen. We'll be looking for some questions. I'm sure you'll have some questions and comments for our guests. So we're pretty excited about that. So right now we're going to jump in and we're joined by Brian Scott, President and CEO of PittMoss. Thank you for being here, Brian, and welcome. We're going to talk about a wide range of topics this morning. Well, actually it's this afternoon now, including root balls, cannabis, CO2 emissions, Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, crowdsourcing. But before we get into the tough questions, I want to help everyone understand a little bit more about PittMoss. So we are going to just share a video right now. This is a quick video about PittMoss, and Brian has an appearance in this video as well. So let it rock.
I'm Brian Scott, CEO of PittMoss. Every year, gardeners and growers go through tons of bags of environmentally harmful peat-based soil. At PittMoss, we aim to solve this by taking paper waste from local landfills and transform it into high-performing soils. Our goal would be to have a facility in every major metro area in the U.S. because every major metro area has a problem with waste. They're taking a ton of paper right now to the landfill. And we want to prevent that. We want to turn it into upcycled soils that people can grow in throughout that particular region.
There is nothing on the market like PittMoss itself. It is a very unique, one of a kind that is made solely out of those newspapers and cardboard that you're sending to the landfill. We might as well send it to PittMoss and let them make this amazing product. Over all the years that I've been in this industry itself, I've seen products come, I've seen products go, new products on the market that don't survive and so forth. PittMoss itself, PittMoss is going to be here forever.
For a generation, the only improvements to peat-based soils have been different amendments to fix it. With PittMoss, we have the opportunity to just engineer soil from a raw substance and make it do amazing things, have the aeration, have the right pH, and have the right water absorption, because we're starting with a hydrophilic substance. So we're just naturally starting and creating from the get-go a better product.
We've noticed less watering. We have to retrain ourselves on how much we water our plants. But the performance has been, hands down, almost 50% more plant growth. So this is our PittMoss grown geranium, and this is our regular soil grown geranium.
When we dig peat out of the ground, it's a precursor to basically vegetation that turns into coal over time. As soon as we drain that bog and expose that 1,000-year-old peat to air and light, it starts to oxidize the peat. What that means is it starts to automatically just vaporize carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide. And a 1 cubic foot bag of peat moss is like burning 11 pounds of coal. Most people don't recognize that. It's really, really bad for the environment. And by us having this recycled material, we help reduce all of that carbon emissions that happens with peat mining.
So the difference between using PittMoss as an amendment or just as itself versus a regular soil for the plant growth, when you look at the root ball or the root structure, there's a lot more root structure to the root ball, which allows the plant to bring up more nutrients and take what it needs from the soil.
I hang out at a lot of garden centers and talk to a lot of gardeners, and no one feels good about their gardening skills. We have an opportunity with PittMoss to make everyone fall in love with growing and gardening again.
My customers have fallen in love with PittMoss, and now that they are becoming more familiar with it, now that the name recognition is there, It's not even a question of having to sell them the product anymore. They come in and ask for it by name. The customers are telling me how much quicker it's growing, how much better it's growing, how much stronger it's growing. The plants are just thriving it. So Mother Nature loves you, and PittMoss loves you too.
Thank you so much for taking some time to learn about PittMoss today. We really hope that you grab a bag of PittMoss for your garden. That will help us grow not only more plants, but also help further protect our wetlands and our natural resources. So PittMoss is a great opportunity for you to join that mission and help us grow a beautiful planet.
That's great. Okay, Brian Scott, come to the forefront. Thank you so much for being here. You've seen a lot of progress in the past year. So let's just start. Give us the history of the company. Talk about, the why behind your business.
Thanks for having us today, Audrey. We really appreciate it, and really appreciate the mission of the Tech Council. So
thank you.
We love having the opportunity to talk with some people today. Really, as you saw in the video, our product's very different in that it's peat-free. It's very sustainable, organic, very eco-friendly. The way the company started was that our founder, Mont, read about how bad the carbon emissions were with PittMoss in an old Sierra magazine, if you can remember that. Yeah. So that's what really kind of spurred him to develop a new product, which he did over like 20 years. And that's the key to it is figuring out how to fiberize paper and reconstitute it so it doesn't turn into like a paper mache. So that's really the tech behind what we do. And Mont luckily got some really early funding here in Pittsburgh by Innovation Works, by Idea Foundry, Blue Tree Allied Angels, and then went on Shark Tank, and that's really how the company got started. That's great. That's so great. So what is your background? How did this align with your background? It's funny you asked that, Audrey. I don't know if you know this, but I actually have a master's degree in software engineering. That's what I thought. And I was a CIO at a public company for quite a long time, actually. I semi-retired. I've helped a bunch of entrepreneurs through my angel group. Mm-hmm. I'm also a member of Blue Tree, so I've coached a lot. This is my 7th either startup or turnaround, both nonprofits and for-profits. So that's what kind of sucked me into PittMoss. That's what I thought. I didn't want to get off the hook without calling that out so people can understand how you got into dirt and the importance of that. So I think it's great. So, you obviously, you mentioned earlier that you got some notoriety in the early, days by appearing on Shark Tank and actually landed Mark Cuban, a Pittsburgher, as one of your early investors and advisors. How has that impacted you? Has that helped? Yeah, I mean, for sure, the whole Shark Tank experience has really helped us tremendously to get an in with potential customers. A lot of times when we talk to people, we're not totally cold. They have heard about us or seen us before. That's been super helpful. Mark has been helpful in that he has done a couple follow-on investments with us. Nice. Connected us to other people through his network, that sort of thing. So it's been really good. The one thing I would say that actually hurt us is at the time that Mont went on Shark Tank, we didn't have a factory. We didn't really have a product lineup. So at the time when you could really kind of capitalize on it, he really didn't have anything to sell. So for us, we get the benefit of the reruns that air on CNBC, and then people will still see those. And we always get spikes in like our website traffic and, questions coming in like we don't get notification, but I can tell you the day after, based on our traffic, that we had an airing run last night. Wow, that's great. And so so let's talk a little bit just for a second about your growth. How far in the market are you? You're mostly in southwestern Pennsylvania? Yes, we're in about 30 to 40 garden centers just in Pittsburgh. And we have a lot of big commercial growers that use us too. But we're in about 150 garden centers in 22 states now. We also sell on Amazon and on our website. So it's definitely growing. We're definitely increasing our footprint every year. And the beauty of what we're doing is not only are we adding new customers, we're also increasing our average sale per customer.
Ah, okay.
Because
What does it look like now?
Yeah, the thing that we find is a lot of times, especially growers, will just try a little bit in year one, and then they'll increase their grow. And then by year 2 or 3, like, we get all of their business, but it takes a couple of years to get there.
So let's jump into the cannabis industry. The marijuana industry has seen significant growth in recent years, even in Pennsylvania. So talk about how your product actually plays nicely into that industry.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that. We actually just published an infographic about a number of growers, literally from like Humboldt County in California up into Maine, that are using our product, recreational and medical. The first really, really good trial we had was with a cannabis grower, a medical grower in Pennsylvania. We just wrapped up that trial with what I like to call our dumbed down product, and they got a 12% yield increase. So on 180 plants, they got the yield like it was more than 200 plants. That's really good, and it's bad for us in that they love it so much. They feel like it gives them a competitive advantage, but they won't let us cite them so that they're promoting us to their competitors.
Right.
So it's really contingent on us to get that word out there.
So we have to help you get that word out.
And the better part is, like, again, that was a really dumbed down product. We think we can get them 20 to 30% yield increases. And we think we can cut their fertilization in half and eliminate all the groundwater runoff, like the heavy nitrogen runoff that these guys spin out.
Right.
Like, we can virtually eliminate that as well. So we think it's transformational for that industry. We just need to get the word out better.
Good. That's great. There are a couple of questions, though, that I want to jump to, Jonathan. Can you bring them up, please?
Absolutely. So first, Brian, thanks for being here today. And I think your product is completely cool, and I can't wait to try it in my garden, that's for sure. So people want to know here, are you doing anything with golf courses?
So, I know we have had 1 or 2 golf courses that have used it more like in their planters, more in their, the areas where they have flowers. We have had some people use it like for hydro seeding, for seed applications, but we've not really, we haven't used it for like a big, like, grow at a golf course, I wouldn't say.
Excellent. And what about using it for like commercial real estate, like in common area landscaping and so forth?
Yeah, we see a lot of that actually. So various like condos and places like that where like their number one thing isn't necessarily managing the landscaping, because our product holds water so much better and you get bigger, healthier plants. It's really a way, we tell people all the time, it's a way to be lazy and get better plants.
Right.
So everybody likes that story, right?
Absolutely. So do you accept shredded paper from anybody? And also, we have a guest here that would love to know more about your manufacturing process as well, too.
Yeah. So we actually buy from recyclers here in the Pittsburgh market, both cardboard and paper. And most of what we're paying for are the logistics. It's about the collection, the sorting, and them getting us clean paper. We have to be super, super careful about what we process. So, for example, we really can't use a lot of like mail paper, because if you think about how many pieces of envelopes have a plastic window to them, so like we have to remove all that stuff. So for us, we're typically buying cleaner, either like newsprint or cardboard. And believe it or not, we hand sort everything. So nothing goes into our machine unless somebody touches it. For that reason, we're removing any sort of contaminant.
So in terms of just Pittsburgh, what are some of the other applications that you see for PittMoss, if you think about sort of the future, and what types of organizations and companies should be looking to use your product?
Yeah, so the first thing that I always tell people, a lot of people will go out and pick out plants at the garden center, and Audrey, you're going to do this today.
Yes.
People like agonize over picking out the best begonia, right? And the thing we tell people is not enough people buy soil, and they take this really nice plant and they go home and they put it in a really bad home, in bad soil, right? We tell people you can buy a bad plant, give it a good home, and in 3 weeks or 6 weeks, it's going to be a beautiful plant.
Oh my gosh, so
it's wayward
plants.
Wayward plants. A home for wayward plants. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal.
Plants living on the margin.
Just for the record, I've offered to be Brian Scott's salesperson today.
That's right.
And I'm going to go to at least 2 garden centers to see if they have PittMoss. And I'm going to buy the ugliest, loneliest, saddest plants. Okay? And I'm getting my PittMoss.
Make sure you get them on discount. Save your money on the plants, spend it on the good soil.
You don't know me well enough.
Well, I have to tell you one other thing we're super excited about. So we don't talk a lot about it, but we also have animal bedding products that we're using for, like, a lot of the cardboard we use for equine bedding, for poultry bedding. And the thing that we have found is our product acts as a sponge for ammonia. And so, so we really think we can help with EPA and groundwater runoff at, like, chicken farms. And with a bunch of equine vets actually will prescribe our product for horses with respiratory issues.
Wow.
So we have a whole other line of products separate from our growing media that we think we can also have a really good positive environmental impact on.
Wow, this is way too much fun. So you know that I'm going to be your salesperson now.
For sure.
So you're just saying the world is your oyster, essentially. Well, so my question to you is what companies, what organizations, and you're saying anyone and everyone.
I would say number one, like, our focus, especially in our market, is we're looking for people that have a sustainability office where the environment and sustainability is important to them. Mm-hmm. Like, we would really like to see Pittsburgh declare itself the first peat-free city. We'd love to get a university to declare itself the first peat-free university, right?
Wow.
So we feel like we can really, really have a big impact, especially with the sustainability focused people in the region.
Okay, so do you have t-shirts that say anything like peat-free?
We do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. So Jonathan is willing to wear that
I will wear it.
Time. And so will anyone else in the audience. So, but this is the kind of thing that gets us excited about something that's, you know, you're solving a hard problem, you're doing a business for wayward plants, you're making sure that, you know, the growing cannabis market is highly efficient, and, you know, there's no one that shouldn't be interested in your product that at least is interested in plants.
Right. And, you know, I think the most surprising thing is the thing that we tell people in the video. Everybody thinks that if you buy a plant and you buy soil, you're helping the environment.
Right.
If you buy that peat-based soil, it literally is like burning coal, and people don't think of it that way.
I know. I never thought of that. And so, you know, you can buy bags in all different sizes, right? You have all different sizes. People should go out to the website. It's PittMoss. It's PittMoss.com, right?
Yep, PittMoss, 2 T's, 2 S's.
So you're manufacturing in Ambridge, right? But if people want to buy your product, what's going on in Ambridge these days?
Ambridge is actually awesome. They really fixed up some of the downtown Merchant Street, the main drive. I walk there. I walk like 5 or 6 miles to downtown and back like every day. So it's nice. I like it. I spend a lot of time too in Beaver and Swickley on either end of me, but I really like walking in those towns too. But we enjoy being in Ambridge. People are very friendly here. It's really good economy for us. So we like it.
So what's your team like right now?
Really, really small. We typically have like 3 to 5 guys in the factory that are working any given day. And then our internal team, we really only have 2 full-time sales rep, a marketing advertising person, myself, and then basically like part-time or contract people.
So
like,
what do you see for the future? What do you see for the future?
So our big broad vision is, frankly, like, our facility is not super expensive. We've got about $500,000 of equipment. We would love to see a PittMoss type facility in every major metro area, so you could make your soil hyper local. You could recycle your local waste, deliver it locally, remove all that transportation cost. Like, for us, that would be our ultimate vision. Obviously, we need way, way more funding before we get there. Right. But like, really, every major metro area, you could have like 3 to 5 in a state like Pennsylvania. and really not travel far beyond like your local waste economy.
So talk about your fundraising, talk about the Republic.
Yeah, so we've done a couple equity fundraisers in the past with like traditional angel funding, that sort of thing. This year, we actually decided to launch an equity crowdfunding campaign with Republic, where it's a safe agreement. We frankly did not do that to raise a ton of money. Our main thing was that we had all these Shark Tank fans that have seen us and they always wanted to invest in the company, and we never really had an outlet for them to do it. So really in the last 30 days, we have raised about $120,000 from, I think we're over 600 investors now. So for us, that was the bigger thing. We wanted to give our fans a way to own a part of the company and get some skin in the game to really talk about the product and help push the company more.
So are you looking for investors right now? Like, what can you say out loud?
Yeah, so we actually can take investment from anybody on the Republic site, right? So that is like an open advertised equity crowdfunding campaign. So we're able to do that. More privately, we do have a private offering that is got a little bit of money available to it now, and that's more to the accredited investors, that sort of thing.
Okay, and so we're seeing here that someone asked a question, Nick did, about a relationship with Phipps or Pittsburgh Parks.
Yeah, that's a good question too. I like that one.
Yeah, so we're actually, believe it or not, we are in Phipps right now. We're not 100% in Phipps. We have been developing what we're calling a Phipps sustainable blend for them. That is a mix of PittMoss and cocoa coir. And our goal would be to flip Phipps entirely over to that product at some point in the future. So we have been working with them actually for about 2 years on that product development. So hopefully that will happen this year. Well, we'll get them totally flipped over to us. I don't know as much about all the local organizations in Pittsburgh because I'm normally the guy going to Long Island and Baltimore, DC. Right. But Ashley, the person in the video, has developed that. And we're with like a ton of nonprofits. The city, we've been trying to work with the Western PA Conservancy. So it's really kind of been growing as we get the word out there. A lot of people just haven't known about us. And this year, we've really seen a lot of growth on that front.
So what does that mean, like that you're working with Phipps? It's like you're a coffee roaster.
Yeah.
Special blends, I love it.
So they buy different soils now. And, you know, like a lot of people, like they don't like to spend a lot of money on soil. Most people don't, right? So a lot of people just buy like the off-the-shelf cheapest product that you can get. Right. Now where Phipps is unique is that they do some really, really unique growing and unique plants. You know, it's tough for them because they have a really big volunteer force. So needing to coordinate and manage that, like they really need a lot of standardization. So we're trying to help them with all of that, frankly.
So, okay. So I see someone mentioned in here, they'd love Chatham University and their Eden Hall campus.
Yep, they're doing a grow trial with our organic product right now.
Yeah. Well, they are.
They are, yeah. Yep.
So last couple of things about you. So are you a big plant guy? Have you always been a big plant guy?
I always had a garden. I would say that. I always had a vegetable garden. Mm-hmm. I was never like a really big flower guy or flower bed guy. So I always did do the vegetable garden thing. With PittMoss, I've learned a lot more. We have a soil scientist that this guy is brilliant. He used to run Michigan State University's horticulture department.
Oh my God.
Really, really sharp. I have learned a ton from him. And we actually have raised beds here at the factory where we grow my lunch outside. I get salads every day out of it.
Really? What are you having for lunch today?
I had a kale salad last night. So we've got a lot of kale. I finished a lot of the lettuce. I need to plant more lettuce. Tomatoes are not quite ripe yet, so we're getting there.
Okay, so that's awesome. So is there anything else? What do you want from all of us in the tech community in terms of trying to be helpful to you?
I think the biggest thing is just spreading the word. Again, like most people don't know the story about peat and how bad it is.
Okay.
So it's kind of like this unwritten rule that nobody in horticulture likes to talk about, right? So I think that's the first thing, is just there's a little bit of a story behind it. There's a reason for doing what we do. And for people that know that, the other thing, like, so we talk about the environmental, but what I didn't talk as much about today is the performance.
Mhm.
Like, we find that you can water less and fertilize less and get bigger, healthier plants because our product is literally built to grow plants in. It's just much better for that. So really, it's like spreading the word. It's talking to people about the peat story, letting people know there's a better alternative out there, and all you need to do is try it and it'll work.
Well, listen, Brian, you can count on us at the Tech Council, and I'm sure many of the people who are on the call to be your ambassador, if not direct sales. And I'm not looking for a commission. I'm just looking to make sure that people know about this. I'd like to see you monopolize our market here.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to see that. And I'd like to figure out some ways to educate people just about soil as versus plants, because I walk away from ugly plants all the time, and now you're making me have a soft spot for them. And I think I can look at the world differently. It's no different than going to a shelter for animals, right?
Exactly. So also, if anyone wants to contact me, the email is super easy. It's Brian with an I, BRIAN @PittMoss.com. Super simple.
That's really easy. So listen, you have a safe 4th of July. We put the link out there. Thank you, everyone. Look, someone just wrote, we have been a user since the original Shark Tank.
Nice.
Water plants for everything.
Awesome.
So you have a lot of fans. You gained fans today. I'm going to do work for you today personally. And maybe over the weekend, I want to make sure that you're in everything in the East End here. And
I'll wear the t-shirt.
And Jonathan's got a t-shirt coming, and it's Pitt free. And you know, my hat's off to you. You're a guy who could do a lot of different things, but instead, once again, you're building a company, and you're doing it in Ambridge, and there's really a great story to that.
Super cool.
So thank you, Brian, for your leadership. And if you don't know, Brian's actually been, as he mentioned in the beginning, not just an entrepreneur, but a corporate guy. And he has helped many a company locally in Pittsburgh for sure, if not further. So my hat's off to you, to PittMoss. I am going to, within 2 hours, I'm going to be on the road helping find PittMoss. And if not, I'm going to try to sell it to 2 places. So thank you, everyone. Monday, we have Bill Strickland joining us, and he's the founder of Manchester Craftsmen's Guild and more. And very excited to talk to him. But listen, everyone, be safe. Cases of COVID have skyrocketed in Allegheny County. The report, it should be out in a few hours. So just stay safe, wear a mask, don't be in crowds, be smart. Let us get through this. The next 2 weeks are probably going to be, you know, a little intense for all of us. And Brian, I'll follow up with you after this call. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jonathan Kirsting. Thanks, the Pitt Council, the Pittsburgh Tech Council, and everyone else. Be safe.
Thank you.